Hello everyone, welcome to today's news chatter. Let's begin with the prelims practice question. Take a look at this question, a very important question from environment and ecology. Arrange the below mentioned compounds with respect to their global warming potential. What exactly is global warming potential? The amount of warming done by carbon dioxide is measured. It is given a standard 1. Compared with carbon dioxide, how much other compounds will heat, will cause global warming. That is called as the global warming potential. For example, if you take methane, its global warming potential is 28. That means methane can result in global warming, which is 28 times that of carbon dioxide, right? In that manner, we have classified for other compounds also. So they have asked you to arrange them from the highest to the lowest in terms of global warming potential. So if you consider this, sulfur hexafluoride has the highest amount of global warming potential, then comes nitrous oxide, then comes carbon dioxide, and then methane. Right. So that is the order. Then I'm sorry, then comes methane and then carbon dioxide. Because carbon dioxide is the standard. Carbon dioxide is given 1. So carbon dioxide has the least amount of global warming. So the answer for this is B. That is first sulfur hexafluoride, then nitrous oxide, then methane, and then carbon dioxide. So the global warming potential and their order has to be remembered. For examination, this is anyways important. Methanogens. What exactly is methanogen? Any organism, biological organism that produces methane is known as methanogen. So let's study about it. Recently, there was a report which told that from the amount of methane that is produced by fossil fuel, when you compare it with naturally produced methane, in the recent times, because of reduction in pollution, reduction in air pollution, the amount of methane produced by biological organisms is increasing. So we need to study about it. Let's go through the basics first. Methane is the second most abundant anthropogenic greenhouse gas after carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide has global warming potential of 1 and methane has global warming potential 28 times that of carbon dioxide. Right. When fossil fuels such as natural gas or oil are extracted from the earth, so most of the methane is present inside the earth. Whenever we are doing gas exploration, natural gas, petroleum, anything, this methane will come out and it will result in global warming. This is one way. Second way is biogenic methane. Biogenic methane comes from microbial action. There are certain microbes that produces methane and they are called as archaea. Archaea are single cellular microorganisms, but they are not bacteria or virus. They are different from bacteria or any kind of eukaryotes. Eukaryotes is a single cell organism which has a nucleus, right? So it differs from both of them. So we call them as methanogen. Here, what is important for your examination? The term methanogen is important. Methanogen produces methane and they are generally archaea. We call the organisms as archaea. So in what kind of environment they live? They live in an environment where oxygen is not present. Where is oxygen not present? When a body, a land surface is filled with water, that means oxygen is not present. Completely filled with water, where very less oxygen is there. A very good example, rice field, right? Agricultural field. We depend on flood irrigation. We just flood the entire land. So everything gets submerged. So too much of methane will get emitted from there. That is one good reason. Rice plantation. Wetland has been increasing in the recent times. So that is another reason. Too much of poultry. When too much of poultry, especially not in India, especially in Western countries such as South America and North America, they depend on cow farming. So when too much of cows are engaged in poultry businesses, that means too much of grass they are consuming, and their biological tract, their digestive tract is filled with methanogen bacteria that produces a lot of methane. So too much of methane evolution happens from these kind of industries. And these are all the basic reasons why methanogens has been increasing. Go through it very well. For mains also, this is very important. Expanded program on Immunization. So expanded program on immunization is a WHO initiative, World Health Organization initiative. Why do we have to study about it? Because it has been 50 years since it was launched. It was launched in 1974. Now it has been 50 years. Whenever anything that completes an anniversary, maybe 25 years, 50 years, 100, 75 years, 125 years, 200 years, anything we need to study about it. For examination, it is very important. Extended program on immunization was released by the World Health Organization. The idea was that all countries should engage in providing immunization for the children, for the citizen of their country. So it included in the beginning 6 childhood illness. What are these illness? Tuberculosis, diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, polio, and measles. Just remember these 6 illness. Later it included even more. Now at present we have 13 vaccines and 17 additional vaccines for those diseases which are very rare. But in the beginning, what vaccines were there? That is very important. Smallpox has been eradicated completely globally, and polio has also been eliminated, except 2 countries. Just in 2 countries, polio is still present. That will also be eliminated very soon. When we talk about India, this expanded program on immunization was launched in 1974. Within 4 years, 1978, India launched the expanded program on immunization. But later we renamed it as Universal Immunization Program in 1985. At present, we also have Mission Indradhanush to take care of immunization. Universal Immunization Program is important. In India, how is immunization performing? We have increased the scope of immunization in 2019 to 21. There was a data which told that 76% of children have received immunization, but this is not enough. We need to reach 100%. Two important programs are to be remembered, to be studied. One is Universal Immunization Program. Second one is Mission Indradhanush. So we will see the details. Very simple, just basic data you need to remember. Free immunization will be provided with 12 vaccines. So what are these 12 vaccine preventable disease? Sadly, it is very factual, but you need to remember because for prelims examination, it is important. 9 national diseases are there, diseases which are present all over the country, and 3 sub-national diseases. 3 sub-national diseases are very easy to remember, so let's go with that first. First is rotavirus diarrhea, present only in certain undeveloped or low developed places. Pneumococcal pneumonia. Pneumonia is also present in certain places only. Japanese encephalitis is also present in certain places, especially in Bihar and the surrounding places. Rotavirus diarrhea, pneumococcal pneumonia, and then Japanese encephalitis. 9 remaining remaining diseases for which immunization is present all over the country. It is diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, polio, measles, rubella, and childhood tuberculosis, hepatitis B, meningitis, and pneumonia caused by Haemophilus influenza type B. Just go through it and try to remember. Even if you are getting an examination, they will give options. So with that, you can easily eliminate. So this is the basic idea. It helped in eradication of polio. In 2014, it was announced that we have completely eradicated polio, and tetanus has also been eradicated. So these 2 diseases have completely been eradicated in India. So already we have universal immunization program. Why do we need Mission Indradhanush? Mission Indradhanush was launched so that if there are any children who did not get immunization through universal immunization program, they will get immunization through Mission Indradhanush. So their idea is identify those people who have not been provided immunization and provide immunization to them. It provides free vaccine to 26 million children annually against 12 life-threatening diseases. So these are all the basic things you need to know. Street Vendors Act 2014. Street vendors and their news related to street vendors are very important because of Pradhan Mantri Swanidhi Yojana. Swanidhi Yojana is for street vendors, and the government has been claiming that it is one of the best initiative that has been taken in the recent times to promote welfare of street vendors. So we need to know about it. So what did this act do? Street Vendors Act, first thing, it gave a proper definition for street vendor. Until then, there was no proper definition, because of which they were subjected to huge amount of exploitation. So first and foremost, they gave a proper definition to street vendor. They told any person engaged in vending of articles, goods, food, etc. in general public, in street lane, in sidewalk, in footpath, pavement, public park, etc., then they are to be considered as street vendors. Anyone above 14 years of age, this point is important. Below 14 years, we won't consider. They are child labor. So above 14 years of age, who is a street vendor, they have to register themselves. And once they register, they will be provided with a ID card also. They'll be provided with a ID card also. So apart from that, there will be a town vending committee. The town vending committee will compose of 40 percentage of members who are street vendors themselves. 10 percentage members will be from the civil society, and the remaining will be from local authorities. And out of the complete 100 percentage, 33 percentage will be women street vendors. So totally of the 100 percentage of the composition of town vending committee, 33 percentage of the complete number will be women, 40 percentage of the people will be street vendors themselves, and 10 percentage will be from civil society. Rest will be from the administration. So this composition is important. Try to note it down. They will be provided with an ID card, and they will frame a street vending plan. Local authorities will come up with a street vending plan, and the plan will be revised every 5 years. Whenever the idea is for the local government to provide space to the street vendors to take care of their business. And they should have free vending zones, restricted vending zone, and no vending zone also. It should clearly tell this is the place where you can do your street vending. This is the place where you cannot do it, is restricted. So that has to be very clear. Whenever there is a requirement, the local authorities can relocate the street vendor, especially if it is causing public nuisance. Too much crowd is there, if it is causing traffic congestion. In such cases, they can relocate them. They need to also have to provide with credit, insurance, and welfare scheme. So this is not a compulsion, but it provides a way for the local government to provide credit and to provide some welfare scheme. So if the government wants, they can provide it. Provision for independent grievance redressal also is provided with a retired judicial officer. So these points should be noted down for mains examination. It is important. Let's move to the next topic. From prelims point of view, this topic, you must be knowing that it is very important. Just by looking at the articles, you should know this is one of the most important topic. 3 articles which are providing exceptions to the fundamental rights: Article 31A, 31B, and 31C. You should also know that Article 31, which was providing fundamental right to property, has been removed. And now we have 3 important articles: Article 31A, 31B, 31C. Why do we have to study about it? Because in the recent times, there have been discussions that we need to redistribute the wealth. There are a lot of wealthy people in our country. Just the first 10 percentage of the people are holding more than 50 percentage of the total wealth of the country. So we need to redistribute them. So this idea has been put out by the opposition parties. So the way in which they are claiming it is because of Article 39B and 39C. Article 39, which is a directive principle of state policy, is very important. It has A to F. 6 important provisions are there. You need to study about everything in detailed manner. So let's go with Article 31A. 31A, immediately after our independence in 1951, we passed the First Amendment Act. 1950 Constitution was adopted. 1951, immediately First Amendment was passed. In this, it was told that if the government want to acquire any estate, that can be acquired even if it is violating the Article 31, which is right to own property. Right to own property was a fundamental right at that time. So the government told, we are passing Article 31A. According to Article 31A, if the government want to acquire estates so that they can redistribute the wealth, redistribute the land to the people, that can be done, even if it is against Article 31. Then, in the same First Amendment, Article 31B was also mentioned, which told that there is this ninth schedule, and this ninth schedule is immune from judicial review. If we are passing any law and if we are placing that law in the ninth schedule of the Constitution, then it should be immune from the judicial review. No judiciary will be in a position to question it whether if it is against a fundamental right or not. But this was highly misused. So, in 2007, I.R. Coelho versus Union of India, I.R. Coelho versus Union of India, in which the Supreme Court told that any act which is placed in ninth schedule before 1973 is fine. We won't do any judicial review on this. But after 1973, after April of 1973, any act is placed in Schedule 9, judicial review is applicable. Why 1973? Because it was in 1973, the Supreme Court came up with the idea of judicial review in the Keshavananda Bharati versus State of Kerala case. So this article is very important. Now, Article 31A is done, 31B is done, 31C. It was passed later in 1971 when Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister. The 25th Amendment Act was passed, in which she told that when we are passing any act to implement Directive Principle 39B and 39C, 39B and 39C, in such case, we cannot be questioned whether it is against the fundamental rights or not. So this was passed in 1971. Later, in 1973, during Keshavananda Bharati case, surprisingly, the Supreme Court upheld this provision. They told that 31C is fine. You can use it to implement the provisions mentioned in Article 39B and C. We won't question whether if it is against the fundamental right or not, but it should not be against the basic structure. No provision, no act can be against the basic structure. So basic structure doctrine will apply. That is what the Supreme Court told. So this provision is extremely important. You need to know about it. Now, what is Article 39B and C? Article 39B is Article 39B tells that the government should ensure that the wealth in the country is distributed equally. Everyone deserves to be holding wealth. Everyone deserves to be the owner of some amount of wealth. So we need to distribute the wealth. In Article 39C, the Constitution tells that the government should prevent concentration of wealth in certain individuals' hand. It should prevent concentration of wealth with some particular sector of the country. Wealth should be equally distributed. So these two are the provisions, very, very important for this year's prelims examination. Try to study it, remember it very well. So that will be all for today. All the best. Study well. Let's meet tomorrow.